Yeah, good everyone. Yeah, you're welcome back to my channel. Well, if you are a returning subscriber, please thank you. Like the videos and comment, and also say what you feel about this video. And if you're just coming in and you've not kind of subscribed, please ensure to subscribe to this channel and also hit the notification bell so you can get informed whenever I have a new upload. I'll be bringing you a lot of good information about this country, a lot of the crisis, things happening on the street of Nigeria.
Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet Earth. Once again, we welcome you to our live and hopefully interactive session this very day, this very evening of the 23rd of February in the year of Almost High Elohim 2021. The time now is 12 minutes past 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. I welcome each and every one of you, regardless of where you are. And as I welcome you, please allow me to also urge you to welcome all those who are around you. We are live and we are direct, and the entirety of humanity is paying attention to what we are doing. And this very evening, of course, it gladdens my heart that a lot of people are now repenting from their old ways. They have now come to embrace the truth, which IPOB have for long represented. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to each and every one of you. Because unlike any other, this very broadcast simulcast on almost 5 platforms. We are on FM, we are on satellite, we are on social media, be it Facebook, we are also on Twitter, we are on Radio Biafra Community app, we are also on Radio Biafra app. Some may want to listen via tuning, sweet radio, just name it, we are everywhere. And that is why the propagation of this very gospel is unstoppable. It doesn't matter what the enemies do. It doesn't matter what they will continue to do. We remain resolute. We remain unflappable. We remain determined. We remain unbreakable. And that is why we do not retreat nor surrender. That is why today the philosophy of IPOB, this very ideology we have preached for years, is now holding sway right across the length and breadth of the damnable zoological republic. As always, my name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. I did promise you that I'll broadcast every 2 days because there is need for people that inhabit that damnable zoological republic to understand that their lives are in peril. And together we are going to do whatever it will take to ensure that we save as many souls as possible. That is why we are here. And that is why we ceaselessly continue to preach this very gospel of redemption. But first of all, we must pray before I bring to you what we have in store for you this very day. Very, very important, please. Our enemies will try all they can to distract us. Please, I do need confirmation that all our systems, that our output from here is working very well. That is what I want to know, please. Very, very critical, please, that I get this confirmation. Is anybody able to confirm with me? Even if yes, we are okay. We are okay. Somebody's saying we are okay. I can see most of the comments. I think it's on Facebook. And Nnamdi is listening to us on Twitter via my Twitter handle at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, I don't know if they have fixed it. We have fixed it, of course, here. Yes, they can now hear me. It is now working. Thank you very much. NDBC, thank you very much, all of you. Donatil Sunkem, thank you very, very much. Chieme Okoro said yes, that it is now working. It is now working. So we are live and we are direct. Once again, it is very clear. And the whole world, they don't want me to preach this gospel because they know what it contains. I call it the end of discussion. After this very program this evening, people will begin to have a more deeper appreciation of the enormity of the task that is before us and what we are doing to rectify the uselessness that Nigeria has become. We must preach. First of all, this very evening, morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are, there is no country, nation, or geopolitical space on this earth where a black man is in control of his life, talk less of his destiny. I want you to write this thing I'm saying down, please. Very, very critical. You write it down, because what we are going to do, as always, is to try to build a very necessary preamble, lay the foundation upon which we are going to rest our lecture this very evening, this very gospel from heaven. I repeat, and I'm saying there is no country or nation on this very earth where a black man is in control of his life, talk less of his destiny. I know some of you may mention Barack Obama, that he was the president of the USA, but during Obama's reign in the USA, black people were more disadvantaged than at any time in US history. Had Obama's reign in America, or should I say his presidency, been a success, you won't have issues like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter because racist, white police people in America were slaughtering blacks at will. That is after a black man had become the president of the United States of America. Why I'm saying that is for you to grasp the essence of the point that I'm trying to make. That there is no country, nation, or geopolitical space on this very earth where a black man is in control of his life. And I'll bring that to the zoo very, very shortly. Sometimes I wonder if God created us, or God made we black people and handed us over as slaves and farm animals to serve other races. That is why anywhere you go around the world, once you are black, you are very close to the dustbin. Do you know they have a caste system in India? Do you know the lowest caste in India are black people? Do you know in Sri Lanka they have a caste system? Do you know that the lowest caste of people, they are black people? Do you know that black people are also suffering in Papua New Guinea? Do you know that they are at the bottom of the pile? I am saying all these things so you understand why these criminals, these vultures, these workers of iniquity are all against Biafra. A simple point I'm trying to make. Because when people are down, you need a force, you need a movement, you need a figure, you need a people to raise everybody up. When Asia was down, it fell upon Japan to lift the whole of Asia. When the Western world was down, it took the grit and the might of the United States of America to grind through the Second World War and still be able to rebuild Europe. Europe was rebuilt with money from the United States of America. Nobody's doubting that. At every period in history, you have always needed a race or a people to stand up and say, or to say enough is enough. It has fallen upon our generation, this very generation of IPOB, and we are saying enough is enough. And of course, and very predictably, we are encountering stiff opposition because the devil doesn't want Biafra to come. The devil doesn't want Biafra to come because the devil enjoys it, because black lives do not matter. Because all over the world, there is no place, there is no country where a black man is in control, or black people for that matter, man and woman, even black dog is in control of their lives. I want you to understand that challenging this very prevailing orthodoxy is the reason why we have so many people within and without against this very promise of God. The same thing happened to Israel. Nobody wanted the Jews to have their own homeland. Nobody wanted them to have it. Even before time, even to leave Egypt and go. They were complaining of exactly the same thing happening in the zoo, because I don't know, for some inexplicable reason, I'm in a spiritual mood this very week. For some reason, the same thing that happened to Israelites are happening to us. If you go to the northern part of the zoological republic, they're complaining. They are everywhere. These Easterners, these Biafrans, these Igbo people, they're everywhere. They own the shops, the businesses, and everything. That is envy and jealousy. We want them to go. We don't want them in our land. The same thing that Pharaoh said. We don't want Israelites in our land. But to allow the Israelites to go was a problem. There's something happening in Nigeria. You are complaining every blessed day, and we are saying allow us to go, and you're saying no. The same biblical scenario being played out in a contraption created by man in Africa in the 21st century. How abominable can that be? I want people to listen very carefully. They have no sense of decency. Why am I saying this? I know some people are grumbling already, saying, oh, why he's insulting black people? No, I'm not insulting you. I want you to be able to reason. I want you to reason very, very clearly. Why any sensible black person, any sensible human being would call himself a Nigerian. Can somebody please explain that to me? Did you create Nigeria? The answer is no. And now, the other part of the coin is, can you go, the person that came and created Nigeria, can you go to his village and create, let's say, Oduduwa or Hausa in that place? The answer is no. They came to our land. They took away the name Igbocha. They named it Port Harcourt. Some of you are shouting for every day, Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt. And I'm asking you, look at yourselves and what you're doing. Do you think you have any shame in you at all? Because if you had any shame, if you had any honor, you would have done. Listen to you. They will see you as a madman. Now I'm asking you, why should we in Africa accept it? Somebody will travel for thousands of miles, come into your land and tell you that your ancestors, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, that they had no history. In one stroke of the pen, your life all of a sudden started in 1960. In 1960, your essence as a human being started. Tell me any sensible country in the world where the president is older than the country itself. And then the sensible question that any right-thinking human being should ask is this: what was my history before the creation of this thing you now say is my history? Simple research we do not do. Because had black people been engaged in very rigorous research, they would have a sense of pride and dignity. Even Native American Indians, they have dignity and pride. Europeans wanted to convert them to slaves, to use them in their farms. And the Indians, the native Indians in America said no. You know what they used to do? When the white man turns his back, the Indian will kill him. He may die in the process, he doesn't care. He would kill him. That way they realized that enslaving Indians or turning them into farm animals is not possible. And they went to Africa. In Africa, when they came, Africans only didn't serve them. Africans were willing to sell their relatives in order to please the white man. Because we have no shame and we have no pride. Why am I saying all of these things? Look at the case of Nigeria today. Somebody will come out and say that we are going to kill a particular set of people because they do not believe in what a white man created in Africa. In essence, that is what Lai Mohammed and the bandit sheikh is saying. The reason why we would not negotiate with IPOB is because they do not recognize the legitimacy of Nigeria to exist. Without looking at the reason why. That is the thing about black people. They never look at the reason. Nobody has ever bothered to sit down and say, why is IPOB insisting that things cannot continue the way they are? Of course, I'm very happy that some of them have now come around. They're beginning to reason like human beings. They are now beginning to reason like human beings. I don't know why a black man has no pride. If you have a pride in you as a black person, you cannot open your mouth and call you Gwacha Port Harcourt. You cannot open your mouth and say Nigeria is my country. It shows you do not value yourself. You don't even trust yourself. You don't even trust your ancestors. You don't even trust God that made you the way you are. You have no shame inside you. That is why white people can come to Africa and draw our boundaries for us. Give us names they want us to bear. Even those of you who are in Christendom, when during baptism, you see how clever they are. During baptism, they tell you to throw away your old name. You shouldn't answer Angoreka, don't answer Ifeinwe, don't answer Chibuzo. It's not good. Why don't you answer Raphael or answer Isabella? That has no meaning. I want to point out instances as to why people out of ignorance and foolishness defend one Nigeria. Anybody defending one Nigeria is an ignorant fool. He's a fool and is going to remain a fool forever. It means you are daft, you're hopeless, and you're very stupid. You have no brain. Had Nigeria been created by people coming together, as most people had campaigned for or agitated for many years ago, but lacked the balls to execute it, had the likes of Shoinka and the Tinubu insisted that what we want is the Son and Abakoba, of course, sovereign national conference. So no matter what the Janjaweed is doing, no matter what Britain is doing, you say no, we want sovereign national conference, and then after that a referendum. But today you have pride. People wonder why we are the way we are. We are the way we are because Biafra children they gave birth to is carrying on from where their father stopped. Because you know why? We are Biafrans, and in us there is a lot of pride. A lot of pride. I have told this story so many times, and I'm sure that even some people may be bored of hearing it, but I will say it once again. One of the things that formed my outlook on life was Alex Haley's book I read, Roots. I think I was a 17-year-old when I read Roots. I read Roots, and a very brilliant book, I must say. There's an adaptation of it. I think it's a movie now as well. So some of you who are not taken to reading very voluminous text, you can go and avail yourself of the cinematic interpretation of that very brilliant book. Roots, R-O-O-T, more of Roots, R-O-O-T-S, Alex Haley. In that very book, that was why when anytime, or the 2 previous occasions I went to America, I had to go to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. From there, I drove, or somebody drove me. Uche drove me for, what's his name? What's his name again? I've forgotten his name. I don't know if it's old age that is coming. I keep forgetting things these days. I've forgotten his name, but it will come to me. He drove me for 5 hours. He's based there in Atlanta. We went to a place called Savannah. Because when I got into Georgia, you see, I said to them that I want to go and see that very place that an Igbo man said he will not be a slave to a white man. I went there and I prayed. And that very place is called Savannah. And the woman that has the house, that her garden is actually on the very spot at the bank of this very creek where they drowned themselves. She was enthralled. She said, yeah, people come around here to have a look. We were there to pray. You see, at that very spot was when white people realized who we are. That these people are a very, very proud race and very stubborn. You see, they brought them all the way from Onitsha. In fact, basically in Ogbaro, they took them from Ogbaro and traveled all the way to US, men, women, and children. And when they inquired what they are there for, why they bound them in chains and brought them all the way to America, the white man said they are going to be sold as slaves to work in the farm to become somebody else's property. And they said, instead of me to become a fellow human being's property, I would rather die. Do you know the reason why this part of black history is not given due prominence? Is because it will teach our children who we are, that we are a very proud race. That is why people must understand, when they look at Biafra IPOB agitation, they must understand where we are coming from. You may, if you are another race, you may be comfortable with being a slave. That is your business. But where we come from, in the land, the original land of the free, where God Almighty in heaven is the king. Biafra was a kingdom where only God in heaven is the king. That all men are born equal before God and fellow men. We gave the world democracy. Biafra gave the world democracy before the great came. Don't take it from me, take it from the white people teaching it in the universities. In Argentina, that is what they teach. It's a fact. That is why they don't want Biafra to come. Because you are the light of the black race. That is why Janjaweed can't understand us, because their reasoning is too low and is too poor. They know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. They don't know. When you see us agitate for Biafra, you kill us, you don't know what is driving us. Do you think we are doing this thing out of our own? What we are doing is of the spirit. Unless you are in the spirit, you can't understand it. If you're a zoo animal, you cannot understand the Biafra. You can never do. Never in your life. You are in a country where somebody created for you. 1960, Nigeria won independence. In your life started in 1960. And every day you wake up as a grown-up person, lettered and educated, you don't ask yourself, what is the history of my grandfather? You don't ask. Because you are black. And every nonsense that comes to you, you accept. Ask yourself why we go and protest. You kill us, we go and protest. You kill us, we keep going. You kill us, we keep going. Have you ever wondered why? Do you think that what we are doing, that we even know what we are doing? No, we don't. What is driving us, what is driving our essence, is something beyond the comprehension of a black person in Africa. You can't understand it. That is why Biafra is an enigma. Only the intelligent can. Only the intelligent who are in the spirit can. And because Biafra is down, that is why black people are suffering all over the world. Do your envy all you like. Be jealous. So unless Biafra is free, you can never be free. All of you together. So it is in the best interest of everybody to join hands together, that we may liberate ourselves. Now, let me ask you this very simple question. All their years of restructuring debate, all their years of sovereign national conference, all their years of talking for constitutional change, has anything happened? No. Ask yourself, why is it now that everybody is talking about change, that something must give? Had IPOB crawled back into its shell at the height of the persecution, do you think that we would have given people the courage to say what they're saying today? People are saying what they are saying because they know that the zoo was unable to suppress IPOB. Anybody talking anywhere in Nigeria is because of IPOB. Anybody anywhere standing up and shouting, it is because of IPOB. Do you know why? Because that's how God intended it. You see that race of people from the east, from Igodomigodo all the way to Ambazonia. People of the east. You see that very little place that Islam could not come into. You see that very place? Do you know that it was done for a purpose? Do you know that the time Islam was making it to the west coast of Africa, every country in West Africa, Islam, Quran dipped, or they dipped Quran in the Atlantic? Only the East. Have you, people, I don't know, have you ever sat down to ask yourself why there is Islam everywhere else, but not in the East? Because you don't know. You see, because Elohim never wanted it. God never wanted it. The reason why God allowed white man to bring his New Testament into our land is because he wanted to teach us a lesson. We were doing very horrible things at our temple in Harajuku. Very horrible things. And God was upset. The same thing that happened was what happened to us. But after 2,000 years, Israel rediscovered itself. And when Israel was about to be established, they said, no, don't go into armed struggle. Don't do this. Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. And a very brave man, Menachem Begin, of Likud Party, the founder of Likud Party in Israel, Menachem Begin, I think at one time was also the head of Mossad, was the prime minister. Courageous and brave man, loved by God and men, only hated by the enemies of God. He said, to hell with everybody. Do you know that it was Britain that was manning, they gave them what is called the Palestine Mandate, because by then they shared the whole world amongst themselves. They divided everything, all the colonial powers, they shared the world amongst themselves. Britain also got Israel. The same way Britain got the zoo with Biafrans in it, their own was Palestine, the Holy Land of Israel. And they asked Britain to leave, that the children of God, that God said the time has come for his children to return. Britain said no. Go and read your history books. Britain said no, they're not going anywhere. Do you know what Menachem Begin did? They used bomb and dynamite to blow the British away from the land of Israel. And in the end, Israel was restored. That is the reason why I love the Bible so much. When they say that the kingdom of God suffered violence, and only the violent can take it, and with force. If you study the history of Israel, it's very clear. When Israel was begging, oh, you're killing, you know what that thing we used to do? You're killing us here. Nobody will listen. They were slaughtering Jews all over the world, slaughtering them for nearly 2,000 years. Nobody did anything. Until one day, European Jews said, you know, they are going to kill us anyway. So we might as well put our life to a very good use while we still have it. We are going to have a state of Israel. And it happened. People said it wouldn't happen, but it happened. The same way we are going to have Biafra. It doesn't matter what you say. We have the lives to commit into it. And in the end it will come. Because nobody can come from a place called Nigeria. Only if you are an animal. Only if you are a compound fool. Only if you are a degenerate idiot. Only if you don't have any brain. I'll keep asking you. Okay, let us take your family now, for example. All of us will have our own homes. Is that not correct? You have your wife, you have your children, and all the rest of it. And maybe some of you, as you're listening to this very broadcast this evening, you're with your family and you're eating and dining. Is that correct? Oh, how about if I walk into where you're eating now? It doesn't matter where it is. Let's say I walk into a family at Ijebu this evening and say I am a Biafran. And by the way, I want you to change your name. This night, the name of this village. No, in fact, Ijebu, I want you to change it. And I want you to call it Ijebu the New Mbise. Are you following? What will you do to me? Even Janjaweed, if I were to go to Sokoto, doesn't belong to them. And I'm very happy today. There's a clip I will play, not audio I will play for you to hear. And I'm sure our media will go and get it and spread it everywhere. When Mailafia was talking, Dr. Mailafia was talking on channels, that's Janjaweed TV station. He is apart from we in IPOB, he is the only person I've heard use the word, the Habe Hausers. Today, I knew that the man, he reads his books, he's intelligent. When I mentioned the Habe monarchy, some of you don't know what it means. When I mentioned the Hausa, their name was the Habe, H-A-B-E, the Habe monarchies of the Hausa kingdoms. None of you knew what I was talking about. But today, my Lafia, I heard him say it. I ain't going to go, to be honest, we are learned. I'm being honest with you. But we shall get to that later. We must change where we reason, black people. And if you like it or not, as I warned you, as I explained to you a few days ago, as I explained to you people a few days ago, if you ask Angela Merkel, when they were exasperated with the presidency of Trump because they didn't understand him, they will say, these are European ministers. Oh, listen carefully to how white. Now I understand why white people, they have so much, they make so much progress. A white person, I heard Angela Merkel, the leader of the strongest nation in Europe, Germany. By none, Germany is the strongest nation in Europe. Do you know what she was saying? Oh, we want President Trump to show leadership. He is the leader of the free world. This is the German prime minister saying that another head of state is the leader of the free world because they understand that if America dies today or is suffering, they know they're all sunk. Do you think an African head of state will do that? You have jazz. Never. Pride and envy won't let them. Jealousy and greed can't allow them. That is why they don't want to give their friends credit. They know who we are. They know, as I said to them, how many hours did your protest last at Lekki? Not up to 5 minutes. They vacuum, swept all of you inside Black Maria, and the protest is over. Because I did not bring out IPOB. I did not bring out Biafrans in Lagos. Had I given the order, come out for protest by today, the protest will still be on. It is nobody's fault. That is how God made us. It is not, I am not bigoted. It is not about ethnic jingoism. It is not about a sense of racism. That is all rubbish. But the creation as we know it started in my land. Creation, God Almighty in heaven, chose Biafra land as the center of this very earth. 0 longitude and 0 latitude. Go and check your geography textbooks. 0 latitude and 0 longitude, where sunlight meets darkness. The center of this very earth is in Biafra land. That is why Britain created Greenwich Mean Time, moved it 1 hour to the left. Who doesn't know that? That is why they're afraid of us. That is why they cannot get any conviction in any court in the world. That is why they're even afraid of us, of trying us in their own courts. That is the reason why we are as formidable as we are. But the devil will try. The Gwensu will try, as they did against the emergence of the glorious state of Israel. They will try, but they will fail in the end, because we represent the light. Do you know that darkness has no power? You see darkness. You see, darkness has nothing feeding it. I want you to understand and relate this very analogy to the zoo called Nigeria. You see darkness, or actually darkness. You know when NEPA takes light, there is darkness everywhere. That darkness has no power. Darkness is only acting because there is no light. Once light comes, it disappears. And it can never come. As long as that light is on, darkness will never come close. Never, ever, ever. It can never come close. Have you do a simple experiment? Because you see, darkness, you know, when you're going out at night and there is no light, there is darkness everywhere, is because there is darkness in nature. Nothing is fueling it. There is no generator generating darkness. No, it's there, just there. Like Lucifer. Once, you see, for you to defeat darkness, you need to generate electricity or light. And to generate light takes energy. You must do something. You can't keep quiet. You must do something. If you don't do something, you continue to live in darkness. So at that time, you put the battery inside your torch and you on the torch. What happens? Darkness along that line flees. It can never come as long as your light is on. As long as your light bulb is on, there is no way darkness can come. But darkness, it doesn't cause darkness anything. Like the Fulani Janjaweed, it doesn't cause them anything to destroy. But to overpower them, you must come together. There must be synergy, there must be energy, there must be momentum. You must have that thrust. By thrust, I mean T-H-R-U-S-T, not T-R-U-S-T. Now you understand me, don't you? Now you understand me, don't you? Begging them doesn't work. This is black. But how can you explain to somebody who is a PhD holder, who is a professor who will open his mouth and call his land Port Harcourt? You're a professor of maybe nuclear science. That means you have no shame and you have no pride. We all mask our collective impotence. You know, blacks are very impotent. Especially when you go onto Facebook and see the wish. When we are arguing about separation and freedom, many years ago, some idiots are talking rubbish. Nigeria, one Nigeria, patriotic Nigeria. Look at the idiot. Patriotic who? You mean patriotic product of Frederick Lugard? Nobody is a Nigerian. You dimwits, you morons. No human being is a Nigerian. That is how daft you people are. The sooner you search for salvation under your ethnic identity or nationality, the better for you. Shameless people. Who is a Nigerian? Let me ask you. Who? Is it the one from Mali with AK-47 somewhere in Mina, raping and killing people? People without a collection of people without honor or shame. God have mercy on your ignorance and the wretchedness of it. We love to mask our collective impotence by seeking solace in English language. That's most of us don't even know. You see one idiot writing, writing grammar. Ask him to explain that grammar, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's writing. But because the word sounds sweet, just like when we learned the phrase, circumstances beyond my control. Anything you ask somebody who says circumstances beyond my control, he doesn't know, but it sounds nice in the ear. So you say circumstances beyond, even out of context they use it. That is what happens to all these idiotic intellectual grammarians on Facebook. Now listen. Imagine how powerless we have been for years to make minor, what I would even call insignificant change like ordinary restructuring. Ask yourself this question. What would it cost Fulani to restructure? Nothing. No, it doesn't. Nothing. Those championing restructuring did not say let's break Nigeria. No. They said let's make things better. Somebody somewhere said no. Go through your senators. Because they know they have the numerical strength to frustrate whatever motion or bill that you have on the floor of both the House of Reps and of the Senate. And somebody who is so blatantly disadvantaged will rise up in the morning and tell you he's a proud Nigerian. I want to demolish these intellectual Lilliputians. Let me put it that way. They are minions. They are nothing. They hide under grammar. They spend 4 days. They go to the dictionary, cramming every rubbish. They come and they write junk. Because they are inferior. Because you see, an Englishman speaks English. And they are so inferior that you have to write. You want to aspire to write like an Englishman so you can perhaps acquire some of the aura of an English person, so that your peers can respect you. But you are making an absolutely idiotic fool of yourself. As most of you may know, I have been to many countries around the world. There are people who write and speak their language with every pride. Every pride. You come and you speak, they say, oh, you speak English? You say, yeah, okay. Why don't you learn my language? Oh dear. Simple change, something as minor as let us go back to the regions that was working. Fulani said no. Only one group, and they're a minority. A bunch of Janjak, a minority. They are not up to 20 million. Not up to 20 million. It's so ridiculous. I thank God that the houses have woken up after many years. Sometimes, if